Welcome back to a little update video today. We're talking about GME, BYND, COSMOS, GNS, FFAI and SNDL, and CGC. If you're interested, just stay tuned. As always, I'm using the Fractal method. The explanation video for this I will put at the end of the video. Okay, well, then let's jump into AMC. And again today, for AMC, for the bigger video, 1-part squeeze, 2-part squeeze, price targets, I will link the big video at the end of the video. Today we just look what we have done this week. So let's zoom in. And it was a quite boring week. Yeah? But I think now everyone can agree with me that we are in a pullback right now. Yeah? Because so many people said that's not possible. In my opinion, we only have one version left. Yeah? But of course, I'm absolutely sure that if you're looking for it, you will hear from a lot of people next week, FOMC, next week, 7 days after OPEX, we squeeze next week. Yeah, I mean, okay, of course, if we break whatever on Monday, the 200 EMA, we go. Do I see that? For me personally, no. No chance. I will show also why. For our main tracking, I still want to see the 0.5 or the 618 pullback. That means I want to still see 134 or 122. Yeah? Even if you look at micro tracking, we have here our peak. Here is our lower high. This could be or should be our midpoint, and this maybe can be our last our last time to sell. But I think it's also possible that we do this and this become our T, and then we go down. Yeah. It's still for me the thing, and no financial advice. I'm still the opinion it is dangerous not to have a position. Yeah, because what if we do this in after hours? Yeah, so yeah, it's still possible that we do that. I always said since weeks now, I bought 50% here of my position. I still didn't buy the other 50% because I'm still waiting for this. Yeah. But because we already talked about this. And the thing is, if I would only have to show this, I wouldn't have put AMC into the video today, because I hate it if I just repeat the same bullshit like the last video. But I have something little additionally. So just so you see every single squeeze which AMC did since IPO, and especially every start of every squeeze. For explanation, all charts are on the 1 hour chart. The first chart is, of course, now. Yeah, so from March 2026 till today. The second chart is 2021. Yeah? The chart beside the next chart is 2024 from April till May, and the last chart is April 2025 till May 2025. So, what are the similarities? In 2021, we did the V, made a higher low, which we didn't do in the last weeks, but we ran up to our A. Then we did a 0.5 pullback, and after the 0.5 pullback, we did a higher low. So in April 2024, we did the V, but no higher low like in 2021. We still ran up to our A. This time, we made a 618 pullback. And also after that, we did a higher low. And for the smallest squeeze from AMC in 2025, we did our V. We did a big, long higher low, but also we ran up to an A. For the pullback, it was near the 0.5. But also here, we did a higher low after that. So the similarities is the only higher lows after the V were 2021 and 2025. So, okay. But what we did in every single case was an A. Every single time before a squeeze, we did an A and did a 0.5 or 0.618 pullback. Every single time. And that's why I am so stubborn to say, for me, there is not really a possibility to run without a pullback. The second most important landmark, which we did every time, was a higher low after the pullback. Every single time since IPO. And that's why, you know me, or maybe not, but the people who are watching me, you won't hear from me opium tracking. You just don't, I'm never on the side from opium tracking. I have to see landmarks. That's why for me personally, no financial advice, there is no chance that we go next week. Just for me personally, really, it's zero chance. Even if you say we're not pulling back here, there was no higher low here. And we didn't move in after hours. So to do this in pre-market Monday, there is no time for that. That's why for me personally, there's no chance for next Monday. And as you know, AMC is only running Monday, Fridays. If we're not gapping on Monday, well, we have to do something the rest of the week. So for me personally, in the best case, you live on Monday, yeah, and the rest of the week you're doing the higher low, or you slowly going down till Wednesday and till Friday you're doing the higher low. That would be the best case, yeah. But just see no chance for Monday. Sorry. Yeah. Also, you don't have to exactly reach the 0.5. You can bounce a little bit over it, a little bit under it. Same for the 618. A little bit over it, a little bit under it. That's okay. Yeah. The only thing you are not allowed, like I said in the last video, you're not allowed to touch the 786. So if you touch 109, that's bad. That's really bad. But I don't think so. But I still want to see the pullback. And wherever we get the V in this range here, I want to see the higher low after that. Yeah. For the fractal theory, landmarks are always repeating, and especially landmarks in front of big moves are important. Yeah. And they always repeat. Okay. Yeah. Next thing is a little proof that this market is fractal and only fractal. Just a little proof of concept, because I know how crazy I sound. Yeah, it's absolutely normal, because I'm telling you that there is no supply and demand, and there is no day, and it doesn't matter who is buying and who is selling, and that sounds crazy. Yeah. But if you look at this, maybe it's helping. And to say that, I needed a full year to believe or to see it. Yeah, I fight it a full year against that. For the explanation what this is, left side is Nasdaq futures on the 10-minute chart. This is 10-minute from this Wednesday till today. Right side is normal Nasdaq, QQQ, on the 24-hour chart from October 2025 till today. And what do you see? I mean, maybe you already see what I mean. It's nearly 1-to-1. What do I mean? You have here your green peak. You have here your green peak. You have here your red peak. You have here a red peak. Okay, the difference here is it's a little bit not smaller, lower here. Here it's a little bit higher, but for landmarks wise, that's okay. After that, you knife. After that, you knife. You make a hump. You make a hump, coming to a higher low. Coming to a higher low. You're making another hump, ending in another higher low. You're making another hump, you're ending in a higher high again. A higher low, sorry. You come up to your red and your knife. You're coming up to your red and your knife. And this time, this low is lower than all lows before. Lower than all lows before. And after that, you run up. And then, if you put this here on regular hours, you have a nice gap. Same here, you have a nice gap. And here's the tricky part. Because this here is really more like it looks like. So it doesn't really go hand in hand with my theory. This you could call more the original fractal. It's not it has not really much to do with my overworked fractal theory with rules. This is just the original fractal theory where every stock has its own fractal and it will repeat it over and over and over again. Sometimes one-to-one, and sometimes it is as easy to see. It's easy to see. You can't tell me you don't see the similarities. Doesn't happen often. But the danger here is, even if you see it perfectly, only use bars pattern. And that's why my fractal theory, which I made with some colleagues, are existing, that you don't have to use bar patterns. Because if you only use bar patterns, you can easily lose. Because especially here, if you look at this, here you went a little bit sideways. This was just a little pullback and go. Also here you were a little bit sideways. I mean, if you zoom in, you can would easily see that it's also going a little bit sideways, but not so long. But the landmark here is that you're going a little bit sideways under the peaks. Same which we did here. Sideways under the peaks. And after that you break out. And the thing is, only because I played this, it was perfect. But only to say, I wouldn't follow that now for more than a week. Because you could maybe say that because we did this here, that we are right now in this candle here and still need to do this. So you would still come up a little bit and then come down again. Could be, but dangerous. There's an end to these little sequences which are really one-to-one. But it's if you can find them, it's easy to play. Really easy. But my main point to this is, do you want really to tell me, when you see this, that this market is a supply and demand? How is it possible that a multi-month move from October till today was repeated in 2 days again? One-to-one. How is that possible if this market is looking for, when more people sell, I go down, and when more people buy, I go up? Not working. Also, how do you want to tell me that this market is news-driven? I don't think the same things today which happened in October. How? Same thing if you want to tell me, it's algorithmic driven. Okay, but isn't that the same? I mean, it's another name. But if you want to tell me, okay, this is happening because computers are doing all the orders, but then it's also not supply and demand. And the move is also fixed. Doesn't matter if it's called algo or fractal or whatever. It seems like this. I mean, all our tracking is based on that the market is not supply and demand. But seems like this. Do you need more? This is not manipulation. This is just showing you all this news, or the politicians or the short selling or whatever is all just a fugazi. You just have to find out what the fractal is doing, and this will happen. But because one last thing before we go into tracking again, I would bet if tomorrow all humanity is dead, the market would still move how it should, as long as energy is there. It wouldn't go so. It would still do its fractal pattern. Okay. Well, so much for this little proof. Okay, next one is BYND. Just a tiny update because it's really looking good. For the full story, I will link the video at the end again. Our target is still our big A. We'll come to that later. For the tiny tracking, well, this week was quite boring for our stocks. Yeah, nothing changed, but it was quite boring. I already posted that today, midday or something like that. We got a pretty good push today. The only problem with this push was the pullback after that, because in the moment we did the pullback and touched the 786, this couldn't be a breakout anymore. Yeah, because this would have been A, and A isn't allowed to touch the 786. So the only thing which was left at this was tiny T. And yeah, pullback. Is this pullback finished? I mean, it could. It looks good. Our 618 is at 83. We bounced right now at 86. I mean, we could still maybe Monday do the last pullbacks. We're talking about 4 cents. Yeah, just saying. If we micro track this T, yeah, this T, then this would be a peak, this would be a lower high. In the worst case, this would be your M and this would be your T, and you still have to go to the 83. Possible. Yeah. In the best case, your M would be somewhere here. This would be already your T. This is your V. You may be doing a micro high low. In that case, we're talking about 1 cent, and then we go up. Yeah. I wouldn't get crazy about this tiny movements. As I said, I think our bearish alternatives are off the table in the best case. I could be wrong, yeah, but I don't think we will come to our V down here again. I just don't see that yet. What would be the moves for the near future? First of all, because I'm always getting this question, if we break 160, can we still do something stupid? Yes. If you break 160, you can do something stupid. That means something stupid means you just go up. Okay, that means something stupid. If you're not doing something stupid, you need to do your little b. Yeah, little b has to be over 160, and little b has to be under the t. So something in this range is b. Most likely, just to make sense of it, it would be reject this trend line. So maximum $6-ish. Then doing a 0.5 pullback from our A, and then we already go to our C, which is our big A, which can happen May, June, yeah, or most likely. For my conservative target, I think latest July, August for this peak. No financial advice. For this peak, yeah, this is our A. This has to be over T. That means it has to be over 15. For now, nothing stupid, it has to be lower than M. That means from 15 to 43. Something in here. Here again, if we break after the B, for example, here, but we also break M, this can't be A anymore. In that case, we again can do something stupid. If we're doing A and not something stupid, yeah, A is pulling back 0.5 or 0.618, and in that case it won't or it shouldn't break this trend line here again. So in that case, if we take from our V up here, the thing is, if we would instantly go up and instantly go down, I would even say a possibility would be 38-ish, because you have to see, you go instantly up, and if you go instantly down, yeah, here's your 0.5. Yeah. The thing is, if you look back at every landmark here, the C, the L, the M, the T, the higher low, yeah, all pullbacks of these major landmarks took a while. Every time that were long pullbacks, multi-weeks, multi-months pullbacks. So we have to look how it develops. Can I look at timing? But there's a case if you're not doing something stupid. So let's say we're doing B and then up to A, whatever. Yeah, 20, 25, 30, 45, doesn't matter. This pullback can take some time. I'm just warning. If you reject somewhere in this range, no financial advice, of course, to think, no, I'm holding my options, don't take profit because I want B. Careful. This pullback can easily take time. Yeah? You can do whatever you want. I personally, if you're not breaking M in an instant, I will take profit, yeah. Or not even profit, I will close most of my position, leave some runners for something stupid. But I don't want to wait this pullback, just saying. Yeah. But for BYND, it looks fucking great. Yeah. In the best case, set an alert just maybe, I mean, just for a little human advice. Yeah. Or less stress. Yeah. Make an alert at 160. Make an alert at 57. Then you have both ways where it should and shouldn't go. Yeah. If the alert goes up by 160, yay. If the alert goes at 57, yeah. But then you don't have to look at this micro shitty tracking. Yeah. Right now the tracking looks perfect. End of story. Yeah. It will take time. Oh, it will take time. Most likely it will be May. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Next one is COSMOS, because someone wished it. I mean, I read already some things about it on Twitter and meme stock and blah 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 blah. It has quite good fractal, I would say. It's just not that good as you think. But first, fractal. It started its IPO nearly in its all-time high, so C. Yeah. Then you made your lower high. This lower high is fucking big, because this lower high was finished here. This whole thing is lower high. Then we have our M. The stupid part of this M is that it also is big. It ended here. Yeah, because it started here, it ended here. So our T is this here. Of course, now you could say, yeah, couldn't this be higher low? Yeah, I would thought at the first look I would say yes, but this here is lower. Can't be. Yeah, higher low can't be lower. So this is T. Now two ways. Yeah. I think this is easily our all-time low, also our V. There are two ways. We go just to go up to A, or we still need a higher low. Yeah? I would really tending to that we still need our higher low. That wouldn't be even a micro higher low, because the micro higher low was already here, but it would be the macro higher low. Yeah? This macro higher low isn't allowed to go over 58. If you're breaking 58 cents, okay, then you go up to your A. If not, you stay doing this higher low. Yeah? Next target is your macro A. Macro A has to be over 140. Yeah? I would say $3 to $2 ish. Yeah, for a 0.5, 0.6, 0.8 pullback. And then you come up to your B, and B has to be over 23. Pullback and then up. So the thing is, with COSMOS, you already did 2 splits, one 125 and 110. So I would say this trend line you won't break. Yeah, just without a forward split, I don't think you break this trend line, because split stocks, it's possible, but yeah. Next thing is, this Fractal isn't looking bad, and no financial advice now. Do whatever you want. I just see an entry. What do I mean with that? First of all, you have a dead option chain. And it is dead, literally dead. The last options you can get is October. After that, there is none anymore. That's also because the COSMOS only has here. COSMOS only has a 28 million float. That's fucking tiny. And that's also enterprise, most likely the reason why there are no options left anymore. Second thing, these options are fucking expensive and have no volume for the price. Because the highest price is, I think, $3 or some, no, $7, something like that. Yeah, $7. $7 is max strike. They don't even have a bid. And the next thing is, the lowest price for October is strike is $250. Yeah, and that's already fucking close to what our target for A is. And they still want 6 cents for this. That for me, the option chain of financial advice is completely bullshit right now. And for shares, I mean, we are right now at 35. Yeah, so the higher low would be what, 30-ish, finished. Then you play it up to 280. Yeah, I mean, everyone has their own what is a lot of profit and what not. For me, that's such a tiny play right now. It isn't making sense even to buy shares. Just to say that. Next thing for this is, I don't know how I didn't really looked at if they already got a notice from Nasdaq, because they are now since October 2024 under $1. And to make that clear, of course, they had the little peaks where they went over $1, but that's not how that works. If you stay for a certain time under $1, you get a notice from Nasdaq, hey man, you are too low, change something. If you go over $1 again, you have to stay over $1 for a certain time. That's not enough time. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure they already asked Nasdaq for this additional 100 days, but I think that it should be pretty close to when Nasdaq is saying, okay, man, what's up? You're still under $1. Do you want to get delisted? And to say that, they already did 2 splits. So the danger that if this is not happening quick, and you still need, in my opinion, the higher low, that a reverse split could be standing in front of the door. So the Fractal is not looking bad, but the entry is just absolutely shit here. For me personally, no adventure advice. For me, the stock gets interesting after we did A and pullback here. Then it would get interesting, because then we're playing for this. This is something interesting. This little shit is nah. And I mean, okay, could we do something stupid? Maybe, but the thing is, if you look at T, you get always your A and B. Also here in M, you got your A and B. In L, you also got your A and B. So this stock is not really showing you that it did stupid things except knives. So Fractal is not looking bad, but I had several plays where the Fractal was picture perfect. But the entry was so shit that it was unplayable. I would say right now COSMOS is some of this play which we can track, but not for an entry. Okay, next one is GNS. Just a tiny update, yeah. For small summary, IPO was peak, C, lower high, midpoint, T. In the best case, all-time low was in April 2025. Since then, we did higher low. We should be finished. Our next targets, before we go into micro tracking, our next A should be above 670. Next B should be around 84. And GNS can do something stupid. And with stupid, I mean whenever we are finished, we just squeeze. Just because you see that the moves from the main landmarks are fucking vertical. Yeah, so GNS can do that. And especially, it's no option chain attached. So it's only shares. And plays stocks without option chain, you see them do the most vertical moves from the whole market. For micro tracking, yeah, we're just doing nothing right now. This thing is just waiting on something because this here is just bullshit. Yeah, I mean this here is our micro higher low. Yeah, yeah. I mean we did here lower low. Yeah, but in that case, here was our A, B, C. Yeah. In that case, this would be now our V of the higher low. And now we just added another micro higher low. You know, I still stand to my point. I don't have landmarks left. Yeah. I mean, okay, we can add another higher low, another higher, another, but you can't do that forever. There is nothing left. Still, it wouldn't be so great if we break 29. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, you still have place, a room till here. Yeah, so from 30 to 21. What you are not allowed to do is touch 20 cents. Yeah, my stop loss is at 20 cents because if you're touching 20 cents, you're doing something similar to FFAI, for example, because this can't be higher low anymore. This would be T. In that case, you will really go lower. And my main point why you're not allowed to do this is Nasdaq, 10 days under 10 cents and you are gone. End of story. No additional 180 days. No. 10 days under 10 cents and you are gone. And they already did a reverse split. And before they get delisted, I tell you, they will do a reverse split. Yeah. And in that case, a big one. So, yeah, don't see that yet, but breaking 20 cents, it's over. Otherwise, every fucking day you can just squeeze. Yeah, just saying. Okay, next one is FFAI. Also here, a little summary. IPO ended in its C, lower high, midpoint T. In the best case, we are ready, or in the only case, we did our all-time low already. Before we do the micro tracking, next target for A has to be over 350. For B, it has to be over 154. And then the only question is this stock even still alive up here? Because again, you did already 3 reverse splits. You don't, in my opinion, no financial advice, zero chance to get a share for 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 140,000. No. If the fractal is saying we have to go up here, you will do a forward split. Without a forward split, your maximum target for me personally is 153. That's your maximum target. Without the split, no here. Good. And now for micro tracking. For micro tracking, we have two ways. First one is it will take more time. And that means that this thing here is your higher low. Yeah? Because here's your T, you didn't broke it. In that case, you still have to pull back. You have to pull back to exactly 27 cents. Yeah? Or the 786. Yeah? V and A. And then you can do something stupid. In that case, if we even micro track this, then you would say here's your peak. This is already your lower high. This would be your M. You come down, come up, T, down, V, go. Yeah, that's the longer version, I would say. The more quicker version is, because if you look from your V to this peak, that's a perfect 618. So this is tiny a in both cases. Doesn't matter how. But in the bullish case, then this here was already your T. This. That means this is little a. That means that this candle here is little b. But that also means that here, from here to here, you're bouncing at the 618, which could be a B pullback. Yeah, could be a B pullback. Not normal that the B is pulling back that low, still possible. As long as you're not touching the 786, so as long as you're not touching 32, still okay. In that case, you should reverse next week. In that case, you will break 61 cents and just go. That's the bullish way. Again, if you break down here again, if you touch 20 cents, it's the same like GNS. I will still track it, but if you touch 20 cents again, I think this stock has really, I mean, it already has a massive problem, but then it would be dead. Yeah. And because at the beginning, someone told me, yeah, the owners are so nice. They care about the stockholders. They don't reverse split. They already did a 140, a 1.3, and a 180. If you break 20 cents, in my opinion, there will be a reverse split. End of story. Because 10 days under 10 cents, and if this is just T, you will go under 10 cents. You are delisted from the Nasdaq. Before they go off the Nasdaq, they will reverse split the fuck out of you. Really, sadly, but yeah, they have a 200 million stock. They will do a 1-200 most likely just to get out of these levels. That's why. As long as you don't touch 20 cents, fine. And you could even do something bullish, because FFAI is the same like GNS in that case. Whenever we are finished, we can do something stupid. Really, can. That's the only thing which is still attractive. But 20 cents, break, touch, not good. Yeah. Okay, next one is SNDL. Only because some people were surprised this week, and I really think that's my fault, because I'm not I didn't micro track SNDL. For the overview, we had our C, here's our L, midpoint, T, all-time low, we have finished higher low, and our next target for SNDL is A. Yeah, so something around 390, 380, breakout retest, and then the real move for up to 48. And in the last video, I also showed no financial, but an idea with options for January and so on and so on. But because I was only looking for January's, I'm not micro tracking this. And then people got surprised that we got the pullback, yeah, because I didn't show it. But if you micro track this, you clearly see why. Yeah? You have here your higher low and here the breakout. Yeah? You have here your top of your higher low, here your lower high, your midpoint, your T. You broke with this run in the last days. T. So this is your tiny A. What is A doing? A is breakout retest 0.5 or 618. For sundial, you perfectly bounced at the 618. So from now on, it should go up. Also, maybe this wasn't a touch enough and you still have to do one little more pullback. But all in all, direction is upside. Yeah, it's just upside. I mean, could be wrong, of course. And if you touch 115 again, that's bad. That's really bad. But for my tracking, this little pullback here is nothing. Yeah, still A and then B. It still looks great. Yeah, and if you're interested in no financial advice for ideas how you could play it, just watch the last video. Yeah, but still perfect. And the way better play, in my opinion, is CGC. And for this, it's the same thing. It's really the same thing because I mean the fractal is not the same, but it's looking better. But the move is the same thing. You started in your B, going up to your C, lower high, midpoint T. In the best case, all-time low is in. Since then, we're doing higher. Next target is 20, pullback. Next target is 44. Pullback and then maybe all-time highs or not. Yeah. Question is, we also did here a reverse split again. So if we go up here, maybe. But the first thing we are playing is this A. But if we're now going into the micro tracking, well, I mean, also, you have here your C. This is your T. The tiny T. You went over it. So this here is your tiny A. And tiny A is doing what? A pullback. So maybe because this is only a 0.5, you could still come here down to the 618. That means 1.6. But I mean, sundial and CGC are quite doing the same things right now. So if sundial is finished, Canopy should be finished too. But also, this is micro tracking. And I think I showed in the last video also the fake money strategy for non-financial advice was also be contracts for January because they're fucking cheap. And the last time I looked, they didn't really move down or up because, yeah, it doesn't matter. This move looks big, but it isn't. Yeah. So it still looks great. Nothing changed. Yeah. Okay. I think that was everything. Just saying, nothing changed. I mean, it was a pretty nice week for Nasdaq and SPY trading. All the other stocks, no Fractal, broke, everything is okay. It was just a fucking boring week for the normal stocks. Okay, except Intel. Okay, as always, explanation video here, playlist here, the video for the big update video back here with all our stocks in it. If you liked it, leave a like. If you want to see more, leave an abo. Whenever you watch this, I wish you a nice weekend still, and let's see what happens next week. See ya.